For the past 3 years, you've been told the same thing. AI is coming for your job. Automate or be automated. The robots are winning. Here's what they didn't tell you. In the last 6 months, some of the biggest companies in the world, Microsoft, Klarna, Starbucks, Uber, have been quietly walking back their AI bets, rehiring the humans they fired, scrapping the AI tools they spent millions building, admitting behind closed doors that the math doesn't work. This is the story they don't want you to know. The AI boomerang. And it's hitting harder than anyone predicted. I'm your host, and this is the Tech Exploit. Let's start with the biggest bombshell of the week. Microsoft, the company that invested $13 billion in OpenAI, that built Copilot into every product it sells, that told the world AI would make every worker 10 times more productive, just told 100,000 of its own engineers to stop using Claude code. Stop using AI tools they already paid for. Here's why. According to internal documents obtained by Bloomberg, Microsoft's AI coding bill had grown so large that it exceeded the annual salary cost of the engineers actually using the tools. They weren't just paying for the productivity, they were paying more for the AI than they would have paid for the humans doing the same work. Let that sink in. The company betting everything on AI couldn't afford its own AI bill. Microsoft hasn't commented publicly, but the internal memo was clear. Claude code usage is to be wound down by June 30, 2026. That's not a soft suggestion. That's a shutdown. And Microsoft is not alone. Klarna became the poster child for AI replacement. In 2024, their CEO, Sebastian Siemiatkowski, stood in front of cameras and told the world Klarna had replaced 700 customer service workers with AI. The company's AI system was handling millions of customer queries. It was cheaper. It was faster. It was the future. They cut the headcount. The stock market loved it. Silicon Valley celebrated it as proof that AI could replace whole departments overnight. 18 months later, Klarna is quietly rehiring. 700 humans, back in customer service roles. What happened? The AI couldn't handle edge cases. It gave wrong information to customers. Complaint rates climbed. And the cost of fixing AI errors turned out to be higher than the cost of just having humans answer the phone. Siemiatkowski hasn't exactly been putting this on the homepage, but Klarna's own job postings tell the story. The humans are coming back. And a new Forrester survey puts a number on just how widespread this problem is. 55%. That's the share of executives in a brand new Forrester Research survey who say they regret replacing human workers with AI. More than half. In a survey of large enterprises, regretting it. 29% of companies that specifically cut jobs because of AI have already reopened those exact positions, less than 2 years later. But the regret isn't just about people, it's about the tools themselves. Starbucks spent millions building an AI inventory management system. The pitch was perfect. Track stock levels across thousands of stores, predict shortages, reduce waste. A purely operational AI with no customer interaction. Safe, boring, reliable. 9 months later, they scrapped it entirely. The system was miscounting items. Coffee beans were being flagged as overstocked, while stores were running out. Syrups were disappearing from the system while physically sitting on shelves. The AI was confidently wrong about the most basic things. Reuters and CNBC both confirmed the shutdown. After 9 months and millions of dollars. Gone. If Starbucks can't get AI to count coffee cups correctly, what does that tell us? Uber thought they had the answer. At the start of 2026, Uber's executive team made a bold internal bet. They allocated the company's entire AI investment budget for the year to a single initiative, using AI to optimize driver routing, surge pricing, and customer demand prediction at scale. It was supposed to last 12 months. It lasted 4. Uber's CTO confirmed in a recent internal review that the company had burned through the entire 2026 AI budget by April. The initiative hadn't delivered the expected efficiency gains. The models were making predictions that didn't hold in real-world traffic and demand patterns. The engineering team spent more time debugging AI outputs than they would have spent just building the old-fashioned way. His assessment? Quote, "I'm back to the drawing board. Uber hasn't published a press release about this. They haven't sent a tweet. But when your CTO tells the internal engineering team they're starting over, that's not a blip. That's a reckoning." And here's what all 4 of these stories have in common. Microsoft, Klarna, Starbucks, Uber. These aren't startups that got caught up in hype. These are 4 of the most sophisticated technology operations in the world, with billions in infrastructure and some of the best engineers money can hire. And they all ran into the same wall. AI is extraordinarily good at performing narrow, well-defined tasks in controlled environments. It can write code that looks right. It can answer customer questions that fit a pattern. It can count things, most of the time. But the real world doesn't stay in a controlled environment. Customers have problems that don't fit the template. Traffic patterns shift in ways the model didn't train on. Coffee inventory in a store in Tulsa behaves differently than the model predicts. And when AI fails in the real world, the failure is expensive. Not just in money, in customer trust, in brand damage, in the engineering hours required to diagnose why a model that scored 97% in testing is getting 40% of edge cases wrong. The economics don't work out the way the pitch deck said they would. But the executive selling this vision had a plan for that too. Here's the part no one's reporting. The companies leading the AI charge, the Microsofts, the OpenAIs, the Anthropics, aren't selling you productivity tools. They're selling a narrative. Because the narrative drives the stock price. Because the stock price attracts investment. Because investment funds the compute. Because the compute trains better models. Because better models extend the narrative. It's a loop. And for 3 years, the loop has been extraordinarily profitable. But loops break when the business results don't materialize. And right now, across hundreds of internal boardrooms that will never make CNBC, the same conversation is happening. The ROI isn't there. The models cost more than advertised. The edge cases are killing us. What do we tell investors? That's why the AI boomerang matters. Not because AI is dead, it isn't. Not because every AI tool is failing, they're not. But because the story you were sold, that AI would cleanly, cheaply, permanently replace human judgment, was always more about fundraising than it was about facts. The workers coming back at Klarna know this. The engineers at Microsoft know this. And now, you know it too. They told you AI would replace your job. What's actually happening is more complicated and more human. The technology is real. The capabilities are growing. But the promise that AI would make human workers obsolete, at scale, immediately, economically, that promise is cracking. And the companies walking it back aren't doing it publicly. They're doing it quietly, in internal memos and job postings and budget reviews that only leak when someone talks. We'll keep watching those leaks. If this story matters to you, if you want analysis that goes past the press releases and into what's actually happening inside these companies, subscribe to The Tech Exploit. Drop a comment. Tell me which company you think is next. I'll see you in the next one.